Humility clothes me from the top of my head, soles of my feet, yeah. Teach me, teach me, show me the way. Hide my face from the wickedness of this world, I pray. Take my hand, protect my heart, hide me in the shadow of your wing. Like a child, see purity in my eyes. Allow me to sit at your feet. Hear me, hear me. Show me your ways, teach me your paths. I'm yielding to your will. Your loving commitment will endow me, surround me in my coming and my going. Cleanse me, purge me. I want to be white as snow, so I may testify of your love to those in search of you. Show me the way. You desire truth, the inward parts you make me know you. Take my hand, casting all my cares, refresh me with the waters of life. Like a child crying softly, forgive me. Allow me to approach your throne. Know me, yeah. Know me. Have mercy upon me, O Elohim, according to your loving kindness. According unto the multitude of your tender mercies, blot out my transgressions. Wash me thoroughly from my iniquity, and cleanse me from my sin. For I acknowledge my transgressions, and my sin is ever before me. Against you, you only, have I sinned, and done this evil in your sight, that you might be justified when you speak, and be clear when you judge. Behold, I was shapen in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. Behold, you desire truth in the inward parts, and in the hidden part you shall make me to know wisdom. Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. Make me to hear joy and gladness, that the bones which you have broken may rejoice. Hide your face from my sins, and blot out all mine iniquities. Create in me a clean heart, O Elohim, and
Shalom. MAYAKAALBA is Hebrew for Michael. Correction. MAYAKAALBA is Hebrew for Michael. Ba, because there's more than one Michael's in here. Ba is the second one. Get that out the way. Now, tonight we're going to talk about basic understanding of the scripture. Esau and Jacob. You have to get this straight because we down to the wire right now. You better know what side of the fence you on. And you see all the turmoil and chaos out there. This is why. Because the Most High set it up where we would be punished for a certain amount of time. He would pull us out the punishment and turn everything against the other nations. That's in Genesis 15 verses 12, 13, and 14. We're going to get into all that. But this class right now is about Esau and Jacob. Let's turn to Genesis, the 25th chapter, and we're going to start at the 20th verse.
Genesis 25 and 20th verse. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padanaram.
Right. Now, the wife was of a different nation. It doesn't make any difference. Why? The man carries the seed. That's what you have to understand. The man carries the seed. There's order. The world we live in now, everything is in total chaos. There is no equity between men and women with the Most High. It's a chain of command. There's the Most High, there's Jehoshua, there's the angels, and when it comes down to the human, there's who? Israel, and then there's what? The other nations. There's a chain of command. All right, go ahead.
Okay. The sister to Laban the Syrian. Genesis 25, 21. And Isaac,
Excuse me. Go ahead.
and Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him. And Rebekah his wife conceived.
Now, when you read these scriptures, you have to really look at it and visualize what you're reading. Everything revolves around these two children, Esau and Jacob. Now you figure, well, the woman that's going to bring forth the child is what? She can't conceive. As you read on, she's barren. Now you figure, why would she be barren? Because the Most High works with what? Miracles. That's how the Most High works, through miracles. Read on.
And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
Stop. How could 2 nations be in a woman's womb? The man's seed is the nation. That's what you have to understand. When you read in the book of Ezra in the Bible, the 9th chapter, the Most High tells you not to mix the holy seed with the other nations. Okay? You want a wife, if you part of Israel, you got 12 tribes to choose from. Why are you going outside the nation to have children? Go ahead.
Okay. 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. The one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger.
Now, when it says the elder shall serve the younger, according to our laws, it's supposed to be the other way around. The younger is supposed to serve the elder. Okay, that's part of the props of being the elder. But the Most High has a reason for doing things. You go to Isaiah 55, 8 and 9, the Most High says, I do what I want to do. Okay, Most High has the first and the last word on everything. Go ahead.
Okay. And the elder shall, 2 people, excuse me, I'll read it again. 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
What verse was that?
23.
Okay, now, I'm going to go back to 22. Now, in the 22nd verse, the struggling between the twins in the mother's womb was symbolic of the conflict there would be between Esau and Jacob. Some of you wonder why we can't get along with those people. This is spiritual. You have nothing in common with these people. Those of you who married them or have Edomite, I got Edomite friends. No, you don't. Let something major jump off. You're going to find out you don't have Edomite friends. The Most High put this in the DNA of both these boys. There would be a conflict up until the end between Esau and Jacob. Go ahead.
Okay, you want me 22 again?
No.
Okay, I'll go back to
No, I'm on the, going to 23.
Okay.
Okay, that says two different nations in that womb. What's it mean, two different nations? Then it says the one people, that's in 23, the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
Okay.
Read that.
Okay. Two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
Now, we're going to get into all that. The one people shall be stronger than the other people. What is that talking about? Their DNA, their genetics. Everyone, oh, they're twins. Everything is equal. No, not with the Most High. The Most High likes drama. He put all this. Remember, when you read the Bible, the Most High set everything in motion. You're actually living a story that he wrote. Okay, and the angels, like a basketball game, the angels are the referees to keep everything in line, in order. You have two people. You have Esau and Jacob. They have children. They populate the earth. There's conflict with the other nations. Esau's on top, Jacob on top, but they're not on top at the same time. All this drama was factored in when the Most High wrote everything. Other words, we're living a story, an actual story. It's like watching a movie. It comes to the end, you rewind it, and you sit back and you watch it a second time. Nothing changes. You know what's going to happen. That's how this Bible is. What you're reading happens in the order that the Most High wrote it. The ups and downs of who? Esau and Jacob. Those are the two main characters in the Bible. Now you have other nations and other kings and queens and princesses. That's fine. But the main ones are Esau and Jacob. That's what it is. That's what we're going to go into. Now, the last part of I was speaking on was when it says one people shall be stronger than the other people. Now, what does that mean? It's talking about genetics. We're genetically different than these people. Let's start with the hair. Okay, our hair has body. It's curled. It bounces. When you look at the hair of the Caucasians, what does it do? It's like dead hair just drops. It hangs there. Get me Leviticus 13:30.
Leviticus 13 and verse 30. Then the priest shall see the plague, and behold, if it be in sight deeper than the skin, and there be in it a yellow thin hair.
What? A yellow thin hair is talking about blonde hair. See, blonde hair is considered prestigious. Oh, that's status. No. These people are in charge. Okay, history is in favor of who? The winner. We're under the other nations. So they're going to push their agenda. I got blonde hair. That's status. That shows I'm special. I'm dignified. That's royalty. No, it's not. That's a recessive gene. Let's see what else is wrong. When you have a person that has blue eyes, that's like the height of status. It's so high up there, people buy blue contact lenses, trying to have some kind of status. Why? Because the people with blue eyes are running the system. And where the actual chosen people, they're in punishment. One is up, one is down. Now, blue eyes are what? Recessive genes. Let's look at this. When you go, read me 25:23 again.
Genesis. Genesis 25 and verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
Right. There's 2 manner of people, something different with these two. They're twins now, but there's something different, a major difference. Go ahead.
Okay. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
Now, when it says stronger, people figuring that's something like they can lift and bench press and do it. No. Genetically stronger. Now, we did the eye with the hair. Blonde hair, that's a recessive gene. That's something's wrong with you. Let's look at the eyes. Blue eyes, what? Less protein means less melanin in the what? The iris of the eye. So when you have blue eyes, what is that saying about you? You have recessive genes. Whereas you got your chest out and you got your hand on your hip and you it, like they say. No, you're not. No, you're not. That's part of the lie. You're not it. You have recessive genes. Let's see, the next one is what? Green eyes. It says genetic. You can look all this up. Go to any, get any book on optometry. You can Google all this information. It shows you the different color eyes. All that is recessive genes. It's just popular. Why? Because the people with recessive genes are in the driver's seat right now. They're the ones that write the books and do the research and bring everything to the public in their favor. Okay? We did green eyes, right? Genetic mutation that results in low levels of melanin. Now, the next one is gray eyes. Gray eyes are among the rarest eye colors. Again, it says what? Low melanin. Recessive genes. Hazel eyes. This happens when the iris has less melanin. In other words, I'm reading all these different color eyes on the eye chart. It's telling you what? Recessive genes. And it's showing you the difference between Esau and Jacob when it says one people shall be stronger than the other people. When you bring everything up to date, you clarify that. You have to teach this to the people. The elite, they know all this. Okay? When you see these ads where you see people with the blonde hair and the blue eyes, the blonde hair, they have hats on. The skin, they have sunscreen. I'm going to get to that later. And they're wearing shades. Why are they wearing shades? Because their eyes are weak. That's why sunglasses are out. Because the people in power have problem with their eyes. You in charge, but you a weaker product. Now, what does that tell you? Bible prophecy. One people shall be stronger than the other people. Now, let's get this one. Brown eyes. That's what we have. Excess melanin, which causes the brown color of the iris, protects the eyes from sunlight. You can Google all this information. Don't say, oh, Mike, you making that up. They ain't making this up. They making this up. Everything is in the Bible. It was never taught to you. They don't cover this in church. They can't cover this in church. Why? Because some people they'll feel offended and they ain't coming back. Besides, Whether you know it or not, black churches are all under 501c3. All these are different things I'm going to cover. Not tonight, in different classes. You can only put so much information in this Bible out to the public. But see, with us, that don't affect us. We put everything out there. Why? That's our job, to put everything out there. Let me read that again about brown eyes. And who got the brown eyes, Esau or Jacob? Jacob. Now, you might have one or two Edomites with brown eyes, but the majority of them, they got the colorful eyes, what they call he got some pretty eyes. No. It's pretty because they in power. He has or she has recessive genes. Jacob, the blacks and Hispanics, look at them. They got the brown eyes. And read that again. Now, I didn't write this. I just copied what's on there when you Google everything. Brown eyes. Excess melanin, which causes the brown color of the iris. Protects the eyes from sunlight. Think for a second. We out there picking cotton. You really think Master gonna hand out shades? Really? What's the next one? Sunscreen. Sunscreen. Look this up. Matter of fact, what you can do is you can go to a pharmacy. You can go to I don't want to give out names for stores. They think, oh, you trying to advertise? We ain't advertising. Go to any place that sell health products and look for sunscreens. I left mine home. I don't use it. I have it for teaching purposes. Sunscreen protects skin from the sun. Then when you read on the direction, it says reapply every 2 hours. So if you are Edomite, when you sit in the sun, oh, I'm getting a nice tan. Okay, mistake number one. Why you need a tan? The first one came out what? Red and hairy. Red means what? You can see through the skin. They have no color. They're pale. They don't look right. So to look healthy, well, they need a tan. So they sit in the sun. Here's the problem. They got weak skin. That's why it says one people shall be stronger than the other people. So they have to put on what? Sunscreen to protect their skin. We don't need sunscreen. And then they tell you, oh, don't believe that everybody needs sunscreen because it has to protect them. No, they don't. No, they don't. When we was out there picking cotton, didn't nobody have no sunscreen. Nobody got skin cancer. Nobody got sick. They went out there, picked the cotton, pick anything that had to be picked. Why? We serving our punishment. That's what you have to understand. Stop taking everything personal. Like, man, why we had to do this? Why we had to do that? Read the Bible. We're the chosen people. We broke the laws of the Most High. I'm going to cover this in different classes. When you go steal a car and get locked up and they send you to Rikers Island, where you think you're going? The Poconos? You're going to serve your what? Your punishment. When you read Lamentations 2 and 5, you ain't got to get that. 2 and 5, the Most High says right there, he turned his back against us. He was sick and tired of the nonsense. He said, these people going to be punished. And that's how we wound up in all these captivities. How you think we wound up on the slave ships? Butt naked, chained to a ship. That's part of the punishment. That's part of many punishments we went through. And when we finally made it to the shores of America, we had a bad, I had a bad day. We had a bad day every day we woke up. Why? That's the punishment from the Most High. We're the chosen people. You had Esau and you had Jacob. Esau is in the driver's seat at this point. Where's Jacob? Catch a natural born hell. Now, let me see. Sunscreen. Okay, now you know you have to put, if you're an Edomite, you got to put it on every 2 hours. And that's not just the summer. They got to put sunscreen on in the winter, too. A lot of y'all don't realize that. I don't care if it's 10 below zero. If the sun is out there, they got to have sunscreen. Why? Because they're cursed. One people shall be stronger than the other people. And then when you read the 22nd verse of Genesis 25, it said there will be a spiritual conflict between the two. Most High put that in their DNA also. There's always going to be conflict between Esau and Jacob. So when you working among your white co-workers and why we just can't get along, stop scratching your head. Read the Bible. The Most High put that in our DNA. And you can't get around that. Now, what verse did you leave off in Genesis 25? Wait, you know what? Give me
I didn't finish that.
What?
25, 23.
Okay, read that.
It says, and the elder shall serve the younger.
Right. Now, according to the law, the younger is supposed to serve the elder. Why is the elder serving the younger? The Most High put something in this equation right here. Okay, go ahead.
24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb.
Oh, I want to bring this part out about, you read 25?
Reading it now.
Okay, read it again.
25. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment.
Right, when it says red like a hairy garment, that means you can see through the skin. You can see inside. You can see the blood, which means they had no melanin. That's what it's talking about, red. And when it says hairy, white people are naturally more hairy than anybody else. When you look at these people, they got hair on their chest, the stomach, the back, forearms, even the knuckles. Now, white females, when you get up close to them, you see like a real thin layer of hair around the face. It's like peach fuzz. Okay? On their hands, all over their bodies. You can't see it from a distance, but you gotta get up real close to them. That goes to show you what this Bible is talking about. They're hairy. All of them, the men and the women. Can't get around that. Okay, now, what verse you in? 26?
25 finishing. And they called his name Esau. 26. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel.
Now, this right here is symbolism. In the Apocrypha, give me 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. And I'll read that. That one was what? The 26th verse, the last one you read, right?
That was it.
Okay, you get the one in the Apocrypha, and I'm going to read this one again.
Okay, 2nd Ezra 6 and 9.
Stop. Let me get this, 26. I'm going to read 25, then 26. And the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment. That's Esau. Red meaning what? He has no pigmentation. You see the blood in him. Okay, and hairy, that's just the way they are. They're hairy people. Like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. 26. And after that came out his brother, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel. Now, what is that showing you? This is a future prophecy. Get 2nd Ezra 6 and 9.
2nd Ezra 6 and verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world.
Stop. These two boys run the planet in different times. These are the main characters in the Bible, Esau, then Jacob. Right now, Esau's running the world. Why? Because Jacob was being punished for breaking the laws of the Most High. Now, our punishment is over. We're going to get that in a second. Our punishment is over. Now it's Esau's turn to face the music. Okay, read.
And Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. 10.
No. Read that. Read the whole thing again.
Okay. 2 Ezra 6 and verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
Right. Now, Esau's in charge, and who follows after him? Jacob. That's us. And when you read in Genesis, when Esau came out, his brother had his hand on his heel. Okay? It's showing you the Most High has everything in order. We just have to live up to that part. That's a future prophecy. Okay, we're gonna have hold on Esau's heel. Why? Because we're the next one in line to rule. Okay, go back to Genesis 25th.
Genesis 25, 26. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel.
Right, it's showing you. Most High is going to have us pull this man down, and we're going to rule. You seeing that now? All this turmoil and everything. Where are we on the food chain? We at the bottom. The absolute bottom. And what's the Most High going to do? He going to bring us up. Why? Jacob was meant to rule. It's just we had to serve our punishment. Go ahead.
And his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bore them. 27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents.
What verse you in?
27.
Skip to 29.
29. Genesis 25, 29. And Jacob sowed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. 30. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom.
Right. See, what you have to understand, right? Some people say, oh, he was tricked out of his birthright. No. The Most High set all this in motion. Most High knew who was going to be the leader and who was not going to be the leader. Okay, this is just a narrative. You're reading a story. Who wrote all this? The Most High. Excuse me. Excuse me. Go ahead.
Okay. 31. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright.
Stop. How you going to sell your birthright? Everything is written in stone. He's going to sell his birthright, which means what? He has no respect for the Most High's law and order. See, he was tricked out of that because he was hungry. No, he had no respect for the Most High's order. You cannot sell your birthright. That's not yours to sell. That's like I said, excuse me. Excuse me. That's like I said, I'm from the tribe of Judah. I'm a sell or I'm a lease this title to you. I can't do that. This belongs to the Most High's order. So when you people read this story, you gotta look at it a certain way. You can't sell your birthright. You showing the Most High you have no respect for his order. Go ahead.
32. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do to me?
Now, that's total blasphemy right there. Most High said everything in order, and because it don't meet your standards, your criteria, you just gonna hand it off. See, when you in church, they don't go into all this. Excuse me, got some in my throat. The man has no respect for the Most High's order. He gonna sell his birthright for a meal. That's a slap in the face. And like I said, they don't cover this in church. You gotta read all this when you read the Bible. Go ahead.
Okay. 33. And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob.
Go ahead.
34. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright.
Right, so in other words, the Spirit's showing him what he did wrong. You can't take your birthright as something cavalier. The Most High set that up. Now, I'm going to go to Genesis 20. Give me Genesis 27. When you get a basic understanding, I'm going to give you some scriptures to clarify the difference between Esau and Jacob. Okay, we're going to start at the 38th verse. Genesis 27:38. Let me get that. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Genesis 27 and verse 38.
Now, when you get with excuse me, when you get with Esau and Jacob, remember Genesis 27, you're going to go from verses 38 to 41. That clearly shows you the difference between Esau and Jacob. This is how you can identify who's who. Because at this point now, you know what people are going to start saying about this Bible? It don't make any difference as long as you believe in the Most High. No. The Most High made the difference between Esau and Jacob. Remember, Jacob, the 12 tribes of Israel, that's the Most High's chosen seed. Here's what people don't understand, right? Now, we all grew up in church. I grew up in church. Now, God's kingdom is for everybody, regardless of their nation and their creed and their color and everything. That's just to get you in the church. And besides, the other nations are ruling right now. The Bible, I'm going to prove it later before this class is over. First of all, the Bible was written only for Israel. It wasn't written for everybody. Okay? When you read in the book of Revelations, the 7th chapter, it gives you the government of, I'm going to use the term they use, God's kingdom. We say the Most High. Now, the kingdom of the Most High is comprised of what? 12 tribes, which covers one nation of people. Now, excuse me, if the whole world is taken into that, how come you don't have people from other nations part of the ruling government that the Most High set up? No one ever asked, how come Esau, remember, Esau has 12 sons. It tells you that in Genesis 36 and 9. It named all 12 of his sons. How come none of them are in the ruling section of the 12 tribes? It's reserved for the 12 tribes. Okay, you have Put, Canaan, Hagarenes, the Canaanites. How come they're not part of the kingdom of the Most High? Because the Most High ain't dealing with them. He's only dealing with who? Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel. When you read Revelations, the 7th chapter, when it talks about the government of Israel, is comprised of what? 12 seats for what? The 12 tribes of Israel. It's not for everybody. It's only for Israel. Okay, now give me the 38th verse.
38th verse. Genesis 27 and verse 38. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father?
Now,
Bless.
I'm sorry, but you got to understand at this point, right? The Most High is working through the Father. Okay, the Father just isn't giving positions at his discretion. No, the Most High is speaking through the Father. Go ahead.
Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. 39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth.
Stop. What is this telling you? Esau is going to have what? World rulership. Then you got to go back to Genesis, the 25th chapter, when it talks about the two boys. They're going to be running this planet Earth on different time periods. Okay, read that again.
Genesis 27 and verse 39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth.
Right. This is a future prophecy. And those of you who understand or read the Bible, when did Esau come into full power? As the Greeks. That's when Esau came into full power, under the Greeks. All right, go ahead.
And of the dew of heaven from above. Verse 40. And by thy sword shalt thou live.
Right. Esau was what? A hunter. Now it says by the sword. I seen a guy break the scripture down on YouTube and he had no understanding what the Bible was talking about. Okay, a sword don't mean an actual sword that you swinging. Sword means a weapon. Now, when Esau came into power, let's say when he took down the tribe of Gad, what sword did he use? He didn't use a sword back then. What was that sword? The gun. They developed gunpowder. They developed bullets. They developed guns. They used that to do what? Hold down what they was going to control, what? The earth. It started out with them. Then when you read about Gad, what really put Gad in check? That Gatling gun. It's like an early version of the machine gun. Because the so-called Indians, they was buying guns because Esau was selling them guns. Okay, the deal breaker was what? That Gatling gun. Now, as you go further on down, what was the next sword that had the whole world in check? The atom bomb. That's a sword. A sword is what? A weapon. Here's what you have to understand. When the Most High writes something down, he knows the outcome. So when he's being told, you're going to be blessed, you're going to have control over the dew of heaven, that means world rulership. And in the 40th verse, which says you should be blessed with the sword, that means you're going to have the sword, the firepower, the weapons to keep that control over the planet. You can't have control over the planet if you can't back up your words. And Esau was blessed with that. Read 40 again.
Genesis 27, verse 40. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and
Right.
serve thy brother.
Right. And Esau does live by what? The sword. You heard of the term gunboat diplomacy? That means, listen, we want peace in this region. Why? Some kind of back deal was made. And to make sure they get peace, what do? They park an aircraft carrier around your whatever country you in. So you get the idea, and you know they're not playing. And this man will spill your blood to make a point. It's in his nature. This goes back to Genesis 25 with the conflict between the two boys, Esau and Jacob. Esau has a wild spirit. Okay? And it's different from Jake. How? Jake is reasonable. Esau is not reasonable. He has prophecy to fulfill. And that means shedding a whole lot of blood. Because when you check the track record of Esau, that one nation has more blood on their hands than any other nation in the Bible. What verse you in?
I'm in 40.
Go ahead.
And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
Right. What dominion is he going to have? He going to have total control of what? The earth. And how's he going to get it? He going to be blessed with the sword, weapons, violence. And that's Esau's nature. Violence. There's no other people more violent than Esau. Okay. You got 41?
41.
Yeah.
Verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him.
Stop. One, Esau's going to get the world. Two, how's he going to keep it? He's blessed with the sword. And what's the fuel for this? The hatred for his brother. And what does that go back to? Genesis 25. When the boys have conflict in the womb, they're fighting. It's spiritual. What happened in that womb spills out to what? The real world. That's why you got to read and you have to understand what you're reading. It's more than just a story about two brothers. This is reality right now. You're seeing that. When you hear about what's going on in Israel, not us, I'm talking about the Israelis, they call themselves. They have all that technology. Who are they fighting against? People who are almost total backwards. They got the top Air Force. But see, with their armies and their military, they facing their version of our Vietnam. Because those people know how to do guerrilla warfare. But the fact is, you bombing these people day and night with all this technology. Where are they going to go? You wiping out a people in front of the whole world. And everybody's going to turn against who? Israel. They're going to say, oh, it's anti-Semitism. You ain't seen anti-Semitism yet. The whole world is behind the Palestinians right now. Not to change topics, but this is still Esau's seed. And like I said, he was blessed with the sword. He has modern technology. That's the modern day sword, the technology. Where you can be in a plane 25, 30,000 feet, and you're looking down and you can see outlines of people hiding. And you just bomb the place and wipe out people. And the majority of people you killing are who? Innocent women and children. Not soldiers, women and children. And everybody's watching this, and their hatred for Israel is what? Is growing. Then what you gonna do? Scream anti-Semitism? No. The whole world. Right now, let me give an example. Hold that and get me Genesis 15, verses 12, 13, and 14.
Genesis 15 and verse 12. And when the sun was going down.
Right. This is to show you how the Most High has control over everything. Go ahead.
A deep sleep fell.
Sorry. This is about Esau and Jacob. Okay. Now this is going further up the line. We reading about Esau and Jacob. Now we're reading about the what? The punishment for disobeying the Most High of his chosen seed, Jacob. Go ahead.
And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram. And lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. 13. And when the sun was and he said unto Abraham, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs.
Right. This is talking about punishment. Deuteronomy 28:68. Go ahead.
And shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years.
Right. Now, see, here's where people have a problem. The 400 years isn't talking about when we was in Egypt. The word Egypt just means bondage. Okay, that land was called Mizraim when we was in the desert. The word Egypt means bondage. Now, when we was in bondage in that Egypt at that time, it was only for 80 years. When Moses was born and when Moses led us out of Egypt, that's 80 years. Now, we was in Egypt for about 435 years, but we wasn't serving bondage those 400 years back then. We only served bondage 80 years in that Egypt. So, speed the clock. The 400 years is talking about what? We wound up on the shores of America. Okay? 1619 to 2019. That's 400 years. Okay, so the Bible is, you can set your clock by it. Okay? Go ahead, sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Genesis 15 and 13. And he said unto Abraham, Abraham, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs.
Right, and that's talking about here. Go ahead.
And shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years.
And that's talking about the slavery that we had here in America. Because it tells you in Deuteronomy 28 chapter, they're going to get there by what? Ships. Egypt in Moses' time, you in the desert. Where you going with ships? They have rivers now, but that's not what it's talking about. This ship is talking about what? The ships that we were chained down in. 400 years of slavery. During slavery, it made America rich, and it made every nation on this planet rich at the same time. That encouraged more and more people to get involved in it. Why? That's the punishment. That's the punishment. Go ahead.
Genesis 15 and 14. And also that nation whom they shall serve, I will judge.
Right. And what nation had us in captivity? All nations. When you read Joel, the 3rd chapter, it was called, in the real world, breeding farms for slaves. They would take slaves, they would breed them. It was in the Caribbean. One of the main ones was Jamaica. They would breed the slaves, and they would sell the slaves to different countries. Anybody who wanted slaves, they wanted labor, free labor, they would place orders in America, and they would send them all the slaves. And once they send them slaves, they didn't have to come back for that. They just started breeding the slaves that they bought. And that was free labor. And that fulfilled what? Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, the 68th verse. That's the punishment. And that only fits one people, Jacob, the 12 tribes of Israel. Two major points that put us on the map for slavery. The first one was Luke, the 21st chapter and the 24th verse, when Jerusalem fell in 70 AD. That's Luke 21:24. They surrounded Jerusalem. No food went in, no food went out. If you have a chance, get something called the Josephus. It goes into a lot of detail, or you can Google all this. It tells you how bad it was. I mean, we suffered. We had to eat bird dung, anything, even our own babies. Then when Jerusalem fell, the nations came in and plundered. They took everything. They took our records. Some Israel escaped before this happened. But whoever was left, they was either killed or taken and sold into slavery right there. And who wouldn't want to buy the chosen people and make them their slaves and make mockery and fun and violate them and everything else? That's part of the prophecy. When we fell, the Most High turned his back on us. And when he turned his back, there's Satan getting into all the other nations. We can get them now. Oh, you the Most High chosen? All right, now watch we do this with him or do that with her. Or what they did, how they violated our children in front of us. That's the first time. Speed the clock up. When they had the auction blocks, how they sold us, broke up our families in front of us, sold us. And we got to the shores of America. They molested the children, the women got raped, and a lot of the men got raped. It was called buck breaking. They would rape a man in front of his family. Them big diesel guys, this is my buck right here. I can get a lot of work out of him, but first, I'm going to show you how I got him in check. Because a lot of the slave masters, they was faggot. They was gay. We use that term. Okay? They like having sex with men. So they would violate a man in front of his wife and his children. And also to put fear in the other slaves. You don't toe the line, you next. And they get the biggest guy that they can get. And that put serious fear in our people. Why? We broke the laws. We broke the laws of the Most High. Now, I didn't mean to get into all that. Where was you at last?
I'm at Genesis 15 and 13, going on 14.
Go ahead.
Okay. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward they shall come out with great substance.
Right. What is that showing you? The Most High took his people, turned his back. The other nations, what did they do? They swarmed on Israel. Now, once they swarmed on Israel, they can do whatever they want to do. And what did they do to us? Anything vile that they can think of. That's part of the punishment. But after the 400 years, the Most High going to cut all that off and get who? The other nations that violated Israel. That's what we living in now. That's why you got so much chaos. All these other nations, look on YouTube and everything else. They show you the earthquake they had in Japan. They show you the tsunamis. All them cars floating in the water. Neighborhoods wiped out by what? Water. Every nation on this planet. Book of Joel, the 3rd chapter, verses 1 through 3. When it said to turn the boy into a harlot, that's talking about the breeding farms they had during slavery. Okay? They would take them, I'm talking about the biggest, strongest male slave, and they would have sex with all the women that they have. Was they married? Yeah. He didn't care. It's about making money. So you married, but you ain't no big, tough, strong guy. Master has these big bucks designed to be breeders, sleeping with your wife, your daughter, and anything else that can produce a child, get them pregnant, and sell them to other nations. That's part of the curse. Why? We broke the Most High's laws. Read that sometimes. You ain't got to get it now. It's Leviticus, the 2nd chapter, and the 5th verse. Okay? The Most High had enough of Israel's nonsense and turned his back on us. He became an enemy. It tells you in there. He became an enemy to who? Israel, his chosen people. Let me show you how the Most High works. Hold that, get Jeremiah 29 and 10.
Jeremiah 29 and verse 10.
This show you how much control the Most High has over everything. Everything in this universe, the Most High has total control over. Read.
Jeremiah 29 and verse 10. For thus saith the Most High, that after 70 years be accomplished at Babylon, I will visit you and perform my good word towards you in causing you to return to this place.
Stop. See, people read that and like it goes over their head. Read it again, but slower.
Jeremiah 29 and verse 10. For thus saith the Most High, that after 70 years be accomplished at Babylon.
Stop. After 70 years, first of all, the Most High was mad. Why? Because you have prophets proclaiming, oh, the Most High told us to do this, the Most High told us to do that. When you read above that, you can read that at your leisure. The Most High said after 70 years, in other words, he said, I'm through with you. I'll see you after 70 years. We was going into slavery under who? The Babylonians. Did we go under the Babylonians? Sure. When you read about the four beasts in that statue, you had the Babylonians, and they was taken over by the Medes and the Persians, and they was taken over by the Greeks. That's when Esau came into power, and the Greeks were taken over by who? The Romans. The Babylonians were the who? Ethiopians. The Mede-Persian Empire will be today your East Indians. All these captivities the Most High put us in. Why? We kept breaking his laws and wouldn't listen. Now, when you go back to Jeremiah 29, he says after 70 years, see, most people don't go into that. What do you mean after 70 years? What happened in them 70 years? We was in captivity. How we get there? The Most High put us there. That's why he said after 70 years. What happens after 70 years?
Read on.
Yeah.
Okay.
What happens after 70 years?
Thus after 70 years be accomplished at Babylon, I will visit you and perform my good word towards you.
After you get punished for 70 years, where? At Babylon. Is this true? Yeah. History points it out. It was Babylon, and it was what? 70 years. And the Most High said, I will what? Come back and visit you. Now, when you go back to Genesis 15, what was the punishment there? 400 years. What happens after 400 years? He's going to do the same thing he did in Genesis, in Jeremiah 29. He's going to come back and what? Save us. You don't see he's saving us now? You got people talking about, what you talking about, say, all this hell and turmoil? Are you kidding me? We came here on slave ships, butt naked, chained up, beaten. In the 60s, we was lynched, dragged behind cars and everything. You got people talking about, oh, we have a hard time. I'm in Brooklyn. I'm sitting outside sometime. All I see is Escalades and everything else that black people got. We don't have it as bad as we used to have it. Okay, everything ain't going to stop. The hardship ain't going to stop on a dime. It's over. It's progress. Are we catching hell? Now is the time for you to what? Repent. When you see all the madness going on, because right now we live in what? The 14th verse. He said he's going to go deal with the other nations that did things to us. Now is the time to do what? Repent. Whatever you're doing now, write it down Okay, I do this, I do that, I do whatever. Write it down and put an end to that. Let that be in your rearview mirror. Because now is the time to repent. And watch these other nations, they catch a natural born hell. Genesis 15, 12. We was going to do what? Go into slavery. You get 13. That confirms it. What does 14 say? After the 400 years of what? 12 and 13. Now we in what? 14th verse. Where the Most High is going to do what? Turn everything against the other nations. When you look at YouTube and everything else, all these other nations are doing what? They catch a natural born hell. Why? Because the Most High is the author of all this. It's not confusion. You got to read what? The Bible. You got to read the Bible and understand what the Bible is talking about. I'm going to tell you the next thing that's going to happen. It'll be not now, it'll be a different class. Every Sunday, y'all sitting in church, blah, blah, blah. He going to destroy the whole church system. You can see it now with your man T.D. Jakes. He catch a natural born hell left, right, and center, but none of it's making regular news. Why is that? All these other prosperity preachers, not just the ones in Israel like Creflo Dollar and all, the white ones, they gonna start falling too. Scandal after scandal. That list of Jeffrey Epstein. They had a clip. It's funny as hell. They had Bill Clinton on there, calling him one of the rapists that was molesting young girls. He's giving a speech. A guy in the audience jumped up, "Shut up, you rapist." And then the people in the audience start laughing and clapping. He had to tell the people, no, listen, calm down. You a former president of the United States. Your name is listed on there that you was on Jeffrey Epstein's list. Somebody in the audience calls you a rapist. And the people in the audience, they look, and then they start going along with that and clapping. And you, that former president, you trying to calm the people down. What you think gonna happen? As that list come out, ain't nothing but prominent people on that list.
That's right.
This whole place gonna be do what? It's gonna be turned into what? Turmoil. And that goes back to what? Genesis 15 verses what? 12, 13, and 14. 12 and 13, that's dealing with us. That was completed. We went through the punishment of 400 years. Now we in what? 14. How he's destroying the other nations. Every nation is being destroyed. Now let's start with America. Ain't America being destroyed in front of everyone's face? Of course it is. Think for a second. When people talk about white supremacy is like in your rearview mirror now. Let's say I'm a white man. I said, this is America. Love it or leave it. Can you say that now? No. Every 24 hours, migrants are coming to the shores of America. And they all are what? People of color. Who's in that list? You got Africans. Now, where do Africans come from? We used to see Spanish people coming in here. You got Africans. You got Chinese. People from Vietnam, anything that's Asian is coming in that mob of people. Where the Asians came from? Where the Africans came from? They in cahoots with the Spanish people coming over here. Where are you going to put them? The closest of the border is Texas. So what does Texas do? They send them to Chicago. They send them to New York. And they're going out to the Midwest, California, everywhere. Now, you know what they're going to do with them? They're going to allow them to join the military. So you don't know who's coming in here. Rapists, robbers, murderers. Remember when flotilla happened back in the days in Florida? What did Castro do? He emptied his prisons and insane asylums. sent them to the shores of America. That's part of the plot from that movie Scarface. They was part of the flotilla. And where's it go back to? Genesis the 15th chapter. The country that we living in is going to be turned upside down. Anybody that goes through Manhattan now, you have migrants going to the exclusive parts of Manhattan begging the people. Here's what they don't show you. They go, where do you find a lot of the rich people? Central Park. They in there with their nannies, or the nannies taking care of the kids while the boss is at work. And what do you see in Central Park? Migrants. You don't know who's walking around. You don't know if they got disease. You don't know if they got mental problems, but they're here in America. And when they come here, guess what? They got a check waiting on them. And here's the sad part. When you get your little Social Security check, the average one's about $1,200 for the whole month. Theirs, the average is what? $3,800. So that means you come over here and know nothing, and they got a $3,800 a month check waiting on you. You got Metro cards. They got hotels that they put you up in. And a lot of these, like these condos they have downtown, they're going to start putting them in there. Now, here's another problem. It goes back to what? Genesis the 15th chapter, verses 12 and 13. That was completed. Now we're back at 14. How you going to mess up the other nations? That conflict over there in Israel. Here's what a lot of people don't realize. A lot of those Israelis have something called dual citizenship. So as things get worse in Israel, a lot of those Israelis, they're going to leave that and they're coming where? They're coming back to America. So now you're going to have an influx of what? Israelis along with the migrants, but they're going to treat them totally different. They're going to find nice places for them. A lot of them nice, fancy condos downtown that's empty, they're going to start putting them in there. But the fact is, they're going to leave Israel and they coming back here. Because they have what? Dual citizenship. And as these other countries get involved with this war over there, guess what? A lot of their people is part of that migrant tidal wave that's coming in this country. The amount of people get larger and larger every day. This is the Most High. Most High is going to destroy this place. And you people of Israel, them 12 tribes, get in the Bible, look in the concordance, look up scriptures on repentance. I do a different class on that at a later date. You can start at 2nd Ezra 16. Start from verse 68 and it ends at 69 and it starts at verse 7. Stop at verse 78. That's talking about the 1/3 of Israel. Jacob's trouble. Read that and look up scriptures on repentance. Get your act together. Try and get a clean slate. You're not going to clean it, but like I said, make a list of all your bad habits. Go to the Most High, face the east, and you better start pleading. Pretend you in court. Know you done did what they say you did, and you crying before the judge. Put that same energy in facing the east and crying to the Most High, because remember, Most High know what you did. What's that? That's Matthew's 18:10. The angels keep records on everything we do. Ain't nothing you did them angels ain't wrote down. Because they right there when you did it. Then you got to face the music. What's that? That's Revelations 20 and 12. But when you got to face the Most High, them same angels that been keeping tabs on you, they standing right there with your records. Everything is written in the Bible. You got to learn it. Your church system, that's about to collapse. Because it's based on what? Emotion. Most churches now is made up of old women with pensions. They the one fitting the bills. That clown preacher you have up there, they pay his rent, his car note, and give him money to buy clothes. Oh, my preacher got to look good before the Lord. No, he pimping y'all. I grew up in church. For some reason, or not for some reason, I couldn't get with that. This was back in, I think it was 71, 72. That's the last time I was in church. Because it's based on what? Nonsense. The Most High didn't give the scriptures to everybody. Let me get that real quick before I forget. Get 2nd Ezra 5:27. The Most High wrote the Bible and everything in the Bible for who? The children of Israel. What is the Bible? The book of the Hebrews. Not for everybody, the Hebrews. You got that?
Yep. 2nd Ezra 5 and verse 27.
Read a little slower.
Okay. And among all the multitude of people.
Stop. And this, let me give you what's going on as you read above that. The Most High gives you his favorite of everything. His favorite flower is the what? The lily. His favorite river is what? The Jordan. His favorite bird is what? The dove. How do you know? You go back with Noah. What was the first bird he sent out? It was a raven. And the raven came back, didn't have anything. Then after a while he sent out what? A dove. And the dove brought what? A branch. And that's the same symbol they use at the UN. But people ain't putting on one and one together. I'm sorry, read on.
And among all the multitude of people.
Stop. That's talking about all the nations on the planet Earth. Oh, everybody, we God's children. No, you're not. He has a special people. It tells you that in Amos 3 and 1. It tells you that in Deuteronomy 7 and 6. He has a special people. Go ahead.
And among all the multitude of people, thou hast gotten thee one people.
Hold on. One people out of a multitude, different nations. He got what? One people, one nation of people. Go ahead.
And unto this people, whom thou lovest, thou gavest a law.
Stop. Where do you find laws in the Bible? In the Bible. The first 5 books of Moses. You mainly find the laws in Deuteronomy. You have the dietary law. You have the high holy days. Let's say, look at some of the high holy days. Feast of Tabernacle, Purim, Passover, Day of Atonement. The Muslims made their own Day of Atonement. They call it Ramadan. Where'd they get it from? What the children of Israel had. In America, what are the high holy days in America? Easter, Valentine's Day, Christmas, New Year's. Okay? Those are the high holy days here in America. But in the Bible, I already named some of them. And who do they pertain to? The children of Israel. Read that again.
Okay. 2nd Ezra 5 and verse 27. And among all the multitude of people, thou hast gotten thee one people. And unto this people, whom thou lovest, thou gavest a law that is approved of all.
Stop. Now, we're going to read on, and it's going to figure out who's he talking about. Go ahead.
28. Verse 28. And now, O Yahweh, why hast thou given this one people over unto many?
Stop. Hold that. Well, now, you know what? Stay there. When you go to Luke 21:24, that's when we went into captivity as a nation the first time. Okay? We wound up in the four corners of the earth. Because when Jerusalem fell, first of all the nations helped surround Jerusalem. And they took our records, they took some of us, and they made a total mockery of us. That's how we wound up in the four corners of the earth. Now, the next time that happened, you go to Joel, the 3rd chapter. When it says the boy shall be turned into a harlot, that was talking about what? The breeding farms. Okay? They had certain big strapping Israelite men impregnating all the women that master wanted. Okay? They got extra food and everything else as an incentive. And when the child was born, they sold them to different nations. That's part of what? That's part of the prophecy. When you read, that's when we got around the world. Now, when you speed the clock up to the Most High is going to gather us back, when? After the punishment. But you have to understand, when we go through these torments, it's not permanent. It's for a certain amount of time. We showed you that in Jeremiah 29:10. It was what? 70 years. Then you go back to Genesis 15, 12, 13, and 14. 12 and 13, how long was the sentence? 400 years. And after that time that the Most High set, he comes back and what? Delivers us. That's what we in right now. You have to understand what this Bible is talking about. It's talking about us. It's talking about current events. It's talking about all the turmoil you see on CNN and MSNBC and everything else. It's the Most High doing what? The 14th verse in Genesis 15, 12, 13. We live in 14 now. So when you watch the craziness on the news, remember, you live in a Bible story. We live in the story. Okay. I don't want to keep getting sidetracked like that. Now, I'm going to go back to two boys, Esau and Jacob. They become nations. Give me Genesis 36 and 8. We're going to start with Esau.
Genesis 36 and verse 8. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom.
Now, the reason why I brought this out, I seen this on one of them shows with them preachers on Sunday. They were talking about Esau. See, when you keep saying Esau, they're thinking of one guy that went renegade. Remember, that one guy became a nation. That's Edom. Those are the people who are in charge now, Edomites. So what they do in church, they got you thinking this is just one guy that went rogue. No. That one guy becomes a nation. It tells you that in Genesis 25th chapter. It says 2 nations are in thy womb. The 2 boys become a nation. Now, let's get Jacob. Give me Genesis 32:28.
Genesis 32 and verse 28. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince has thou power with the power and with men.
Right. Jacob becomes who? Israel. Get me Genesis 35 and 10.
Genesis 35 and verse 10. And Yahweh said unto him, thy name is Jacob. Thy name shall not be called any more Jacob, but Israel. shall be thy name.
Right.
And he called his name Israel.
Right. So that's showing you these two boys become what? Nations. Esau and Jacob. Esau became Edom, and Jacob becomes who? Israel, which is that what? The 12 tribes of Israel. Now, we didn't get more distinction between Jacob and Esau. Jacob was who in the Bible? The slave. When you read the story about Egypt, that's Jacob. That's Jacob's descendants, the Israelites. The Israelites are who? Jacob. The Edomites are who? Esau. Now let's show you the difference between them. Jacob were the slaves in Egypt. Give me Deuteronomy 28. Start at the, well, we're not going to, obviously not going to read all that, but the blessings for Jacob is in Deuteronomy 28 is 1 to 14. Now, if he didn't adhere to that, here are the curses. That's Deuteronomy 28, 15 to 68. Now, we're obviously not going to read all that. But for your notes and on your leisure, as you see more and more current events, you're going to find time to read this Bible. I guarantee you. Because right now, when you watch the news, even hard-headed people who hang out in the street, they're talking about this Bible. When you watch TikTok, you got people who used to be homeboys and homegirls. When they make a point, it always has a biblical reference. What is that showing you? Playtime is over. When we was in that state of darkness and we was catching hell, what's going on, man? This is crazy. This is crazy. We at the end, the Most High is turning that light on. We starting to see what is about to happen. You ain't never seen white people catch this much hell in this country. There's a documentary called Seattle is Dying. And there's other documentaries where they have, let me see, in Oklahoma, what's that term they use? I forgot that thing now. They have areas where you can use drugs openly, but it has to be a small amounts. Why? Because the Edomites in that area was clogging up the what? The judicial system, the jails. So what did they do? They let them take the drugs. And what does that do? It backfires. Look at meth. Meth is one of the cheapest drugs you can make. If it's so cheap, how a motorcycles gang making up to $100 million a year? Through volume. Which means a lot of these white kids are what? Wasted. In the military, they can't meet their quota. Why? You can't be a junkie and join the military. Everything is backfiring on America. Why? It goes back to what? Genesis 15. We fulfilled 12, 13. What's in effect now? 14. All the nations that had the hand in helping to destroy Israel, the 14th verse says Most High is going to do what? He going to get these other nations. You ain't never seen America where junkies or certain parts of a state, in every single state is an open drug market. On 125th Street, right where the number 4 train is, they hand out free needles. And it seems strange. Where all these white people coming from? They on that heroin. Now, I'm not saying you don't have black people involved. Yeah, you do. But you got white people from all over trying to get needles for what? The heroin. Meth. That's mainly an Edomite drug. And when they get on that meth, they look tore up. And they have all kind of synthetic drugs. And here's the wild part, fentanyl. Where's it made? In China. The Chinese are giving fentanyl to the cartel so they can make their drugs. And they said when they use fentanyl, they make their drugs cheaper. Which means what? They make more of a profit. And all along the border, you have cartels taking over whole towns and cities in this country. What you gonna do? You live in Bible prophecy. And to show you how evil drugs are, let's say I'm in a cartel. Cartels make easily $500 billion a year. Here's the question. What you gonna do with that money? It's not about making money. It's about the power of pushing your drugs on the people. Now they're talking about we want to go in Mexico and fight the drug cartel because what we want to do is make things safer. No. You got to go and fight the drug cartels. Why? Because their main customers are these white people in America. Okay? Meth is killing more white people than any other people in this country. America is like, picture a ship that's just sinking, slowly but surely. Fentanyl is killing people on a level never seen before. And what else is going on? You got the migrants coming in. Oh, now I remember. You can look this up. It's a law. It's called Measure Space 110. It started in Oklahoma. What they did was, if you got caught with small amounts of drugs, they don't lock you up. It has to be a small amount just for you. Now, the reason they put this into law is because so many people wound up in the court system. The court system was backing up. That's not a problem. Now it's a problem. Why? These are white people, white teens, white middle-aged, white elderly. Anybody taking anything, painkillers, antidepressants, and now they don't have the insurance. So what do they have to do? Get drugs on a street level. So when they put that law in effect, it's called Measure 110. Look it up. That made small amounts of drugs legal. Okay? This never happened before. When our people was on crack, everybody came down on our people. Lock them up. Don't show no mercy. We got to have order. Now, when the white kids is on drugs, well, it's kind of they mean well, but they just caught. Otherwise, you're trying to rationalize it because these white people on drugs. But when it was us, throw the book at it, lock them up, fill up the jails with them people. Like I said, right now we in Genesis 15. We live in the 14th verse of Genesis, the 15th chapter. I hate to keep going over it, but it's right there. When you watch the news and all these countries falling apart, where are you? Genesis, the 15th chapter and the 14th verse. Get that in your mind every time you watch CNN, MSNBC, all that. Okay. Now, we went over when Israel got to the four corners of the earth as slaves. The first time it was a major event was Luke 21:24. That's when Jerusalem fell. Other nations, they came inside our gates, took our records, and the so-called Jew, that's how they got their position. Okay, because when you look up a lot of these so-called Jewish people, oh, we're Jewish scholars, this and that. It don't jive with the Bible. Let me give you an example. When you see the Hasidim, Where'd that come from? That came from Europe. They wear this hat. It's round, look like a giant block of cheese. It's made out of mink. First of all, what are you doing with mink? That goes against the dietary law. You can't eat mink. If you can't eat mink, you can't wear mink. But you got a hat around, look like a block of cheese, but it's made out of mink. When you look at everything about them, it don't fit the Bible. The women shave off their hair and put on a wig. Where'd they get that from? The Bible. When you go to Isaiah 3:16, it talks about the women of Israel will be cursed with what? The scab of the crown, which means what? Baldness. That's why, of all nations on the earth, black women spend more money on weaves and wigs than anybody else. So now these so-called Jewish women, to fit that prophecy, they shave their hair off and put a wig on. That's not Bible prophecy. Israel over there now that's fighting was established in 1948. Give me 1 Corinthians, 4th chapter. Start at the 16th verse.
Genesis 28, Deuteronomy 28 and 16.
No.
Huh?
I said 1 Thessalonians.
Oh, sorry. Slakia.
The 4th chapter, start at the 16th verse.
First Thessalonians 4th chapter and the 16th?
Yeah.
Okay. 1 Thessalonians 4 and 16. For Yahweh himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangels.
Now, what is talking about? That's talking about the deliverance of Israel. This is how Israel gets back to their homeland. You got to be delivered from this place where we were put as slaves. Why? This place is going to be destroyed. Not one blade of grass is going to be left here. Where do you go with that? You don't have to, just write it down. Isaiah, the 34th chapter. The bombs are going to hit this place. It's going to be a memorial for all the suffering we did when we came here and fulfilling Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. People talking about, oh, when the rapture come, Jesus is going to come and take all the people that believe. No. You're taking who? The children of Israel. And let's get some understanding. He's not going to go all over the world collecting Israel, just this place. Why? Because nothing is going to be left here. The missiles going to fry this place. Nothing will ever be allowed to grow here. It says it's going to be like smoke. That's how you know it's a future prophecy, because there's no isolated landmass right now. It's going to happen here in America. A remnant is going to be taken from where? America. Now, to prove he's not going to take him from all over the earth, give me Isaiah 66, verse 20, 21.
Isaiah 66, verse 20. And they shall bring all your brethren for an offering unto the Lord out of all nations upon horses and in chariots and in litters and upon mules and upon swift beasts.
Now, when you speed the clock up, I think it's a Bible dictionary, it tells you you're gonna have, those freight, those what do you call them things? It's like a boat that's flat. Just lost that thought. Those freighters.
Or flatbeds?
No, it'll come to me. All nations, the Spirit gonna have them. They gonna gather Israelites. They gonna put them on boats. Where they gonna send them back to? Israel. That's when the chosen people are going to go back to their homeland. It ain't talking about some deal that was made in 1948. Because think for a second. If that happened in 1948, what you just read don't even make sense. You might as well take a magic marker and cross that out. When it talks about Christ going to come and deliver the children of Israel, you might as well forget about that. Why? That was done in 1948. So what does it show you? They're not the people. Get me Ezekiel 36 and 5. When you go back to Luke 21:24, they took us as slaves. Where'd they take us from? Our land. If they took us as slaves from our land, how does this scripture make sense?
Ezekiel 36 and verse 5. Therefore thus saith the Most High Power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Idumea.
Idumea is Edom. Go ahead.
Which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart.
Which means what? White people take the Most High's land. Does that make sense to you? Of course it is. What you see in Israel now, claiming to be the chosen people. It ain't us. We fell in 70 AD. It's telling you right there, white people are going to take the land. Give me Micah 2 and 2.
Micah 2 and verse 2. And they covered fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage.
Right, so in other words, these people, they do what? When it says take it by violence, it goes back to what? Genesis 27. They're going to what? Have world domination, and they're going to use what to enforce it? The sword. Through violence. Who's it talking about? It's not talking about Jacob. Jacob going into captivity. It's talking about Esau. Ezekiel 36 and 5, they do what? They took the Most High's holy land, which is what? Israel. They claim they're the people. That's when it says steal your heritage. And now they're telling all you rest of you Europeans, see, we're the chosen people. You got to treat us special. You can't do this to us. We're God's people. God is going to bless us. They're lying. What you call God's people fell in 70 AD and were put in different nations as what? Slaves. That's how we got to the four corners of the earth. Isaiah 66 verses 20 and 21. The angels are going to what? Gather Israel. They're going to have world leaders. They're going to find barge. That's the term, is a barge. They're going to use boats, bringing boatloads of Israelites from different countries to make peace. Why? Christ and the angels are going to have total havoc on this planet Earth. See, the scholars know what you're talking about. But you see, when people get up there and act a fool and get all emotional, talking about, well, everybody's the same, you just got to pray. No. He has a chosen people above all people. They wasn't acting right. What's he going to do? Get rid of them? No. He picked Israel for a reason. We're going to go through our ups and downs, and he's going to whip out behind every time we do it. He's going to get us in order, and we're going to be the top people on the planet Earth. All this is written down for a reason. He could have done everything like this in the book of Genesis with Adam. But no. We're going through ups and downs. This is the last captivity we in America. I'm talking about the top people in the nations. They know this. They panicking. You see rich, super rich people buying these mansions 10 stories underground. What do you think they're hiding for? If you got a couple of $100 million, why are you buying a house 10 stories underground? Because you know that this Bible is real. To everybody else, all right, that book been talking about that for years. Ain't nothing happening. It's happening now. Look on CNN. Every time you turn around, something else happens. Look on YouTube. They got this guy giving a blow by blow of what's going on in Israel. Israel has had the fingers pointed at them by guess who? South Africa. They said, you charged us with genocide, you doing the same thing. And it turns out the people in Israel, they want that land, Gaza, that the Palestinians are on. They want to make another Suez Canal to make a whole lot of money. And it says a lot of minerals and everything is down underneath. Other words, it's a money deal. So now they're going after that, destroying these people. The whole world is watching. The whole world is turning against Israel. You're going to see anti-Semitism go through the roof real soon. And you black people, don't get in the middle of that. Mind your business. You got something to do right now. Get in that Bible and start repenting. Because all your white friends and superstars and everything else, they be running for their life now. Because the same power that's kicking them on their butt, he's giving you a chance now to get your act together. Clean up your act. I don't know nobody that got a clean slate. Nobody. Want to go out there and teach? You better study. Know what you're talking about. First of all, going down the street is passe now. First of all, every time you turn around, there's a demonstration. How you teaching out in the street now? I'm not saying don't go out and teach. I'm talking about what's out there now. You got 500,000 Palestinians out there yelling and screaming, and you standing on the corner doing what? You better study this Bible. Study this Bible, because it's going to get to the point where everybody, and I mean everybody, is going to be running for themselves. Like they're talking about now with Donald Trump. When he was president, he borrowed money, $20 million from the Korean dictator over there, and hasn't paid it back, and this guy wants his money. Why is it coming up now? Because everything that's done in the dark gonna come to the light. That's the Most High stirring all this up. Now, this guy has so many Trump. He got so many accusations against him, but he's leading the polls. What does that tell you? He was trying to tell white people a long time ago, yo, white people, y'all better wake up. Y'all better wake up. This is it. Think about it. When you seen America overthrown by different nations? Never. The migrants that's coming over here, every nation under the sun is joining that group. And they coming where? Here in America. Is anybody asking, who's that person? What kind of record does he have? Does he have a criminal record? What kind of disease does he have? A lot of them in Manhattan now, prostitutes. They got to sell their body to survive. You don't know what kind of disease they have. Think about it. You on these special buses. That costs money. They come to Texas So what's the guy do in Texas? Puts them on bus and ships them to New York, Chicago, upstate New York, everywhere. And most of them are men of military age. A light don't come on. Who they sending over here? Really? The police department, they going 15% cut on all services. A lot of police, they retiring and they go to different other parts of the country. That means the police department is shrinking. The number of immigrants is increasing. The subways is like watching a Mad Max movie. You don't know who's on the subway with you now. I remember sometime I'm gonna go to work, ride the first car on certain trains like the D. The whole front of the first car is homeless. They sleeping and everything they own is in there with you. You gotta go next car or the car after that. Because you don't want to go in there with them. You don't know what kind of disease they got. You don't know what kind of mental illness they got. But they what? They on the trains. And the number of cops, first of all, cops don't want to be bothered with them. And put yourself in the cop's shoes for a second. Why would you want to get into a confrontation with a guy with 3 layers of dirt on him? You don't know what kind of disease he has, and you got to wrestle him to the ground? What if he bites you? What if he scratches you and start bleeding? What disease does that man have? Is he hearing voices? And if you shoot him, he gonna get a lawyer, and now you got a problem. So when the cops don't want to be bothered, do you blame them? And that's America. That's New York. That's Chicago. All your major cities, this is the problem. Why? Genesis, the 15th chapter, the 14th verse. Go home and read that over and over again. Jacob and Esau. Genesis 15. When you read 12 and 13, that talks about us going into captivity for the 400 years. When you get to the 14th verse, it talks about what? After the 400 years, the Most High is going to deliver us and deal with what? The other nations. Now, you have a problem with that, I'm going to close up with this. You go back to Genesis what? I mean, not Genesis. You go back to Jeremiah 29. Get that for me? Jeremiah 29 and 10.
Jeremiah 29, verse 10. And it reads, "But thus saith Yahweh, that after 70 years be accomplished at Babylon, I will visit you and perform my good word towards you in causing you to return to this place."
Now, read 11.
Verse 11. "For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, saith the Most High, thoughts of peace and not of evil."
Right, so in other words, in the 10th verse, he got sick and tired of us saying, you're going into captivity for how long? 70 years. And after the 70 years, he's going to do what? Read.
"For I know," after the 70 years, "and 70 years be accomplished, I will visit you and perform my word towards you in causing you to return to this place. For I know the thoughts."
Stop. The place is talking about what? Jerusalem. Remember, everything happens over a period of time. So in other words, when you go back, we go back to our holy land. It ain't some backroom deal that happened in 1948. That's Esau. We talking about us. Read.
Okay. 11. For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, saith the Most High, thoughts of peace and not evil, to give you an expected end.
So in other words, the Most High said what? Those are my people. I'm going to whip they behind, but afterwards, I'm going to treat them like the kings and the queens I made them to be. That's what everything is leading up to. Now, I don't have the time to go in there, but it tells you in Zechariah in Jerusalem, it's going to be a war. And it says the eyes shall melt in their heads. That's talking about nuclear destruction. That's what it's leading up to now. Like I said, I don't have the time to get into that, so I'm going to just leave you with this. Because I'm sure you can sit down if you took notes and learn these scriptures, because you got no choice. This place is falling. You got in the long-term plans here, you a fool. On all levels, this place is falling. When you see all these celebrities on TikTok spilling the beans on everything, why? They being cut off. All these rappers you see that hardcore and they gangsters, you finding out they're sleeping with men. What kind of gangster is that? You bent over touching your toes. You a gangster. This what goes on behind closed doors. When Esau's running things. So with that, I'm going to say shalom. And the next time I see you, I'll have another class on understanding this Bible. That, my name is MAYAKAALBA, which is Hebrew for Michael. Good night and enjoy the Sabbath.